Hold on. Hit okay. Or hit got it. Okay, Svetlana, you have to agree. Okay, hold on. Turn this one here. Here you go. Now speak.
Hello. Welcome, everybody. Hello.
Is it correct?
Is it on?
I thought I had it right. Oh, maybe it's this one.
Hello.
Currently, we are experiencing a climate crisis caused by human activity.
Try again.
Hello.
Yes.
It's on.
You're muted 1 second. Now speak.
Hello. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our first meeting in 3 years in person. Wow. This is great. This is great. So for the people here in the room, as opposed to the ones that we have online, if you didn't see it, there's cupcakes and water in the back. There's wonderful sales stuff in the back, Lisa and Doris. You should all have a kit. In addition to that, we have some extra leftovers. The materials for the kits were donated to us. I think you all saw Beetalon and
Starman and TerraCast and Doris.
So we have wire, the spools of wire for $2. We have 40 grams of the mixed beads for $5. And we have the petals that make the angel things, a whole strand of them for $2. So those are up here by Rochelle. So, and welcome to our online guests as well.
Well, maybe y'all should be quieter, but anyway.
Volume up.
I'm turning all my volume up.
Up. Can you hear me better now?
Speak closer to the mic.
Speak closer to the mic. All right. Any questions before we get started, or anything else that we should talk about?
Becky wants to make an announcement.
All right.
Okay, I'm membership, and if you didn't join in the last year or two, at the end of December, memberships are due. I'm reminding people now, if you have a check tonight, you can give it to Nanita. If you're mailing a check as opposed to doing it in PayPal, we're going to have you mail it to her address, and we will put that on the website because it's really hard to get to the mailbox. You know, she works and when are they open, and it became a problem. So we're going to have them mail to her address, but you can, it's easiest to pay with PayPal. If you do not have PayPal, I can invoice you and you can pay with any credit card. And they are a secure location. Thank you.
And I also want to thank everybody who donated to our fundraiser. We raised over $800 this year on our fundraiser.
If you didn't notice, we are giving away 2 of the Toho kits, and you're welcome to put your name in the drawing.
And that includes for people who are online. Just put your name in the chat if you want to register to win a Toho kit, and that's the chat in Zoom. And then Jan will write your name down on the little thing, and we will put you in the list. So you get to join whether you're in person or at home. There's 2 Toho Challenge 2023 kits left. And let's see if there's any other announcements. We're so excited to have you in person. And so, yeah, I was going to introduce the 2 people in the back who are also, where's the audience? There we go. Zoom in. Oh, Lisa, do you want to go stand next to Doris? If you are here in person, Doris and Lisa are here with their wonderful stuff. And so go check out their great stuff back there because we're so happy to have them. All right. So then presenter. All right. Today we have with us Svetlana Zepekina. Yeah, Svetlana is a wire artist that has been, oh my gosh, did you read her bio? It is a mile long. She has been around the globe making wire sculptures and beautiful wire flowers. And so you can come up front and see all her amazing things. And so we're so happy to have her today. And so why don't you tell us a little bit how you came up with this incredible tree to begin with?
Hello, everybody. Nice to see you again. First time, my name is Svetlana, and first time I was in this room 3 years ago when we just came to the US in 2019, and it was also December, I guess, and it was my first time when I met you all, and I was impressed how many people were here. And then I had a chance to teach my classes 2 times at Beadville, at dance, beautiful beat studio, and then COVID started. So today is my second time here, and again, so nice to see most of you. We already met, right? Before, maybe some people like you. Yes, and as soon as it's Christmas soon, and you probably already saw my Christmas tree before, or I have a YouTube channel, and there is the masterclass or tutorial how to create a Christmas tree, but it's kind of like bigger tree, like this, 25 centimeters. Is it okay if I tell in centimeters? It will be difficult for me to convert on the go. But 25 centimeters maybe it's like 10 inches. Yes, and when we decided to do this masterclass with Rochelle, it was her idea to create the Christmas tree ornament. So it should be a very little tree. And let me show you some. It's so cute.
And the perfect use for a Dixie cup, honestly. All you have to do is decorate it with a pen, and then you have a colorful tree skirt.
I'm going to share some pictures with you. No, I need to share another screen.
Just double click on, I think,
Sure.
if you double click on it, there you go.
Yeah. So I started to make French beaded flowers in 2007. And actually I started beading even earlier when I was 13. And we created different bracelets, like French bracelets, and we wore a lot of them. But it was only for one summer. And probably I think I wasn't so much involved because we needed to use threads and needles. But I didn't like needles from my childhood. That's why when I found out that there is the way to create the pieces out of wire and beads, it was very interesting. And mostly it's flowers and trees. So I started that. And what I like most of all is that you can create really big, like real life size, maybe not trees, but flowers or bonsai trees. And I like to create big pieces. Like nobody, people told me, maybe you want to create something little, but no, I want a big piece. So this was my first Christmas tree, and it, can you see it? Yeah. And it was 62 centimeters high, so it's maybe like that high. Yeah, and also, has you can just put this Christmas tree on your table or in the corner of your room, and you already have Christmas mood. And it had lights, and it had some ornaments. Then there was the blue spruce. This was just a little bit shorter. And here you can see both of them together. And then I decided to create even smaller tree for my YouTube tutorial. And it was this one. You can compare the size of the bigger one and this little one. So this one you can find on the YouTube. You can make it natural, like a blue spruce, or you can decorate it for Christmas. Yeah, but today we are going to work on a very little Christmas tree ornament. And I just have some ideas for you here. Like, for example, we found this doll in the Dollar Tree store. So you can put it like that. But also, if you want to hang it on your tree, I have this hook with the magnet, so you can put it right here. And it will be your Christmas tree ornament. So you can kind of decide which way you want. Then also, this one is just a little bit higher. It has plus one more layer of bigger branches. So you can just put it into a pot, some beautiful round or any type of pot, or maybe a candle holder, and it will be your Christmas tree beside your computer. Like sometimes I presented it was actually the sakura or cherry blossom tree to one of my friends, and she was working at the computer all the time, and she said, sometimes I'm so tired, so I just relax and watch the tree, and it kind of makes my mood. So this is a nice office presentation.
No, that's quite all right. And so you can just zoom, yes. And then you could zoom in on those closer. There you go.
Yeah.
And show the
I will
screen.
hold this again. So this tree was kind of under the door. It's one way to keep it, and then you can use the hook and put it on your tree. Okay, so let's start making it. You have some beads, you have some wire, and you have some beads already strung on your wire, right? Thus, everybody can use the bead spinner. Did you ever try to use the bead spinner? Okay, then let's move. But we're not going to do it now because we have them ready, but I want to start the.
Want to thank the 6 people who helped us spin all the beads for the
Thank
75
you.
minutes. A lot of work. It's not enough for the whole tree, but I'll get you started. There's also wire cutters. Oh yeah, there's also wire cutters and tools if anybody needs anything to borrow.
This is just some pictures of the process, how I create the bead mix. You see, we already created the bead mix for you, but say if you are just starting at home and you have some green beads or blue beads, so just use some plate and start putting your beads one by one color by one, and I actually always start with the type that I like the most, with the color I like the most, and I put the most of it, and then I start adding other types around it, like the closer the shape the closer I put it on the table. And then if, say, for example, if I'm going to create a blue spruce, I still add some green beads, but just a tiny bit. If I make a Christmas tree, a green tree, I still put some blue beads in the mix, but just a tiny bit. So the more shades you have, the better. And I don't even count how many beads I put, but somebody commented on under my second lesson on YouTube, and they said they counted and it was 56 shades. I was impressed myself. I just grabbed all the beads that they have had at home. Okay, then after I have that beautiful mix, I start stringing. First of all, I use this bead spinner, and I start stringing them. So, but we already have that. Okay, so let's prepare your string of beads, and we are going to start with making the smallest branches. I will show them. I will show here. It will look like this. Three loops. Also, you see, our first and main one will be with the angel, but we will leave it for later, okay? Because we need to learn the technique first. So, and this is the French technique called continuous loops. So, all the loops will be the same size. If I'm making a bigger tree, and actually even this one, I just made all the loops 4 centimeters. It's like 1.5 inch. But when I created the smaller tree, I decided to take a little bit less, like 3.5 centimeters, which would be 1.25 inches, right? Like a little bit more than 1 inch. So if you have a ruler together with centimeters, then if somebody doesn't have a ruler, if you have a bunch of rulers, please let me know. Yes, I will definitely.
Centimeters on it, so, yeah, you have options. Oh, and somehow has some more rulers.
Question already?
Yes.
Okay, when I started on the wire, okay, I read it that we should, you know, do the beads, but then it says to leave 2 to 3 inches of tail. See what I got here? Okay, but really what you want is you want this 1 meter of beads divided in half. No, what does direction 1 mean for the end?
Okay, I will start explaining now and show. Do you need to see my screen probably now? Stop sharing. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to leave just a little bit of wire, like 5 centimeters. And I don't even measure it. I just do it by eye. So, and I hold here with my left hand. Then I take and bring some beads closer to my left hand and measure out 3.5 centimeters.
Then we're good. I thought I was misunderstanding. Nope, I did it right.
Okay, great. Okay, so measure 3.5 centimeters, please. Okay, now we have it. So now we need to make a loop. I usually do it this way. I put kind of, I made this loop with my right hand over my left hand. So, and you see I have a loop now. It's easier to do it this way, not to bring the ends together, because then it will be harder to twist. But if you make it like that, you just put your right hand over your left hand, you already have your beads secured at the bottom. And then just before twisting the wire, we actually need to give it a shape. We don't need this loop. We need a needle, right? The Christmas tree has the needles, not the round leaves. So that's why first pinch it like that and shape it. So it's very, very pressive. So it's very like a needle, like just one, what do you call it? One piece.
Squeeze it together.
Yes, squeeze it together. And after you like it, like you like a needle, it looks like a needle, not like a round leaf. After that, you start twisting it 1 and 2, sometimes maybe 3 times. So it should be a needle and just a little wired leg at the bottom of it. Okay, everybody got it? It was easy, right? Then count 5 beads and bring them closer. So we will have 5 beads, no matter if it's a round bead or square bead or 2-part bead or triangle bead, no matter which shape, just count 5 beads. And at this point, maybe step out a couple millimeters, like it should be a very short distance. We should create the second 3.5 centimeters loop. So I measured 3.5 centimeters again. And now I can see that I have just a little tiny bare wire space, like a couple of 3 millimeters. And then between the 5 beads and 3.5 centimeters. And then I do the same. I just create the second loop by placing my right hand over the left and then squeezing the loop together so it looks like a needle rather than a round or oval loop. And after I like this shape, I just twist it 2 times again at the base. So now we have these 2 loops and 5 centimeters between them. Let me share the screen again, show you how it looks here. Okay. So we created this first loop, and this one looks big, right? Because I was taking a picture when I created my biggest tree, and I probably used like 5 centimeters in this loop. That's why it's so long. Then we almost created this. With the only difference, we have 2 loops here, and you need to have 3 now. So repeat the steps. Count 5 beads, then measure out 3.5 centimeters, and bring them closer to your 5 beads, but leaving the space about 2-3 millimeters. Then form the loop, squeeze it, and twist it 2 times below the loop. So now we have this shape. Did everybody get it? Everybody is very experienced here, so that's why it's easier. Okay, now we need to create the branch out of this detail. So bring the bottom wires together, and you will get this first loop on top. You will have this first loop on top and two on the sides, and just twist wires below them, maybe for like half an inch, just to secure it. Very good. And now it looks like a half cross, not exactly like the Christmas tree or blue spruce branch looks. So the only thing we need to do is, actually before that, we need to cross those 5 beads. You see, we have the beads, 5 beads on one side and 5 beads on the other side. We need to cross them a little bit, so they are not kind of two parallel strings, but they are crossed. And with this,
No clue what that means.
of the loops, it's kind of a little bit difficult to do because it's just a tiny short distance or string. So if it doesn't work, just leave it parallel, but next we will do it.
Oh.
Okay, and now to make it a real blue spruce branch, just bend these two, or direct these two loops up, like 45 centimeters upwards. And now you see, this is kind of, we already have the first branch. Yay! Okay, everybody got this? Oh, cool. So, according to our pattern, we will need to create.
So wait a minute, you wind and wind beyond your branches?
The wire?
Yeah.
Yes, like twisted half of the inch. So just to secure your
Okay.
item.
Gotcha.
Mhm. Okay. So according to our pattern, we will need to make 7 units of this kind. Do you want? But let's continue and let's create this the second type of the branch, which is technically the same, but just plus 2 more loops.
So we cut this off.
No. We don't. Yeah, we need to cut it off before that. And usually, like you see, my first wire end was about 5 centimeters. The second one I make smaller. So I cut the way so it's kind of like that. One tip is such long, and the second one is such long, because we don't need them all the same size, all the same length. Or because we don't need extra thickness in the stem.
So you said there's one shorter and
Yeah.
one longer.
Yeah, the first one is longer and the second one is shorter. It doesn't really matter how short, like I just do it by eye. One time I did it shorter, the second time I did it shorter, but just a little bit shorter. Feel free, do it anyway, just not the same size. You can make it longer if you wish, but not the same length. Okay, and also, by the way, when you cut one piece, always be attentive and don't drop your string of beads, or you will lose them. So keep keep it securely. Okay, and now let's repeat the same steps. Leave about 5 centimeters again, just by eye. Then measure out 3.5 centimeters of beads and create your first loop. Give it a shape, squeeze it, so it looks not like a loop, but like a needle. And then squeeze 2 times below. And who can tell why do we need to press before twist and not after?
So you don't get one going across.
In the cross? But when you
Oh, so you have enough wire.
but when you twist the first loop, for example, I can just with the second one, I measure out 3.5 centimeters. Then I create a loop. I can twist it now. You see, it's round. It's round now. I can twist it. I don't know where is the camera.
It's right in front of you,
Yes,
It's a giant.
I can twist it, and then I can start pressing it and squeezing it, forming a needle. But I don't do it this way. I squeeze first, and then I twist right.
Oh, so you don't have enough wire.
Yes, not to break the beads, because if you twist it and if you twist it hard, you will not have, sometimes you don't even have 1 millimeter of free space between your beads. And then if you start twisting, squeezing your beads, you can just break 1 or 2. Especially if you are working with 2-cut beads, they are pretty fragile, so you can break them. That's why it's easier to squeeze before twisting. Okay, let's continue the same way. I'm making the third loop. Who's faster? Who's making the fourth? No one yet. Okay, I have 4 now. And I'm making the last one, the 5th one. And by the way, if you ran out of wire, just slip your beads further. So you always need to have a little bit of bare wire.
How much wire do you need after your loops?
Not a lot, like not more than 5 centimeters. So first, and was 5 centimeters, or like it will be a couple of inches. The second will be even less. And if you need a ruler with centimeters,
We have lots of rulers.
yeah,
You have it in inches on the sheets.
Wait, I translated it for you into the inches, just in case you wanted that, instead of the centimeters.
I was hoping everybody would have the ruler with both.
That was on the list.
It was on the original list of supplies.
Do fast. Let's make 5, and it will be our second branch.
You've got more than 5 there.
We have?
Good 5.
Yes, 5. Okay, now,
You guys, they're having a hard time hearing on Zoom when we get a little chatty in between, sorry.
who is ready, let's do it together with me, but who is still working on it, just take a break and pay attention, and I will show, and then you can continue. So we have 5 loops now and 5 beats in between each of the loop. So now again, we do the same thing. We just bring the wire ends together. So we have the middle loop up on the top and 2 loops on both sides. And then again, we need to twist the spaces between the beads. So let's start from the top. Twist the first 2 strings, so we've got it. Then the second space between the loops, we've got it. And then finally, we need to twist the wires below the loops. Again, like for just 1 inch or half an inch is enough. And again, you see, we kind of have this one looking funny unit. So to make it look as a branch, just bend the loops upwards, like 45 centimeters. So now we have the goose spruce or fir tree branch. Okay, and this is our second one. This one was our first one with 3 loops, and the second one is with 5 loops. And according to our pattern, we will need 5 units of 5 loops. Rochelle, can you stop at 5 loops, or did you continue and you made 7 as well?
This one right here is 1 angel, and then the first row is 3 branches of 3 loops. The second row is 4 branches of 3 loops. The fourth row is 5 branches of 5 loops. The next row is 4 branches of 5 loops. And then the very bottom is just 3 branches of 3 loops. I went shorter to create a little bit of a tree skirt. And so that's what this one is. So that's what is on that instruction. If you want to make the smallest style, that's what you would need. For these, you're going to need more, obviously. So that's why we included her original time.
And even for this one, I also created, so Rochelle has 5 loops maximum. The biggest branch is 5 loops. But this tree has 7 loops maximum. So the biggest
And the pattern we sent you the other day, the original one has 7 and 9.
Yeah, the fourth layer has 7. So if you want to continue and create it a little bit bigger, try to make 7 loops. If you want to stop and make it really small, let's just put down how many units of each kind you need.
This one has 1 layer of 7 loops. And so it's just that much bigger. And then I layered it, but I kind of ended with the 7.
So
I wrote it down right here. Oh, this got mixed up when you printed it, I'm sorry. 3 branches of roots, 4 branches.
And then
Right here, right here. 10 branches, 3 loops, 95, and then I printed. I apologize.
let's all make 7 units of the 3 loop branch. 7 units of this kind. 7. So we can start assembling our trees later. We have at least 7 branches.
And so Barb Benjamin says you're doing a fantabulous job, and Sonia says I took your class a few years ago and it was really fun.
Yeah, I remember Sonia. Hi, Sonia. Hope everybody who's online can follow the pattern. Do you need me to repeat something? Or any questions?
So what happens when your wire breaks?
I just started a new branch.
My best friend.
But what I learned, so not to break your wire open, try not to undo your work. Like for example, you did the first loop and then you didn't like something, you decided to undo it and then make it again. This way your wire cannot survive when you bend it too many times. Then also it's good to make your piece very tight and very hard, so you don't have loose beads hanging on your wire. But at the same time, if you overdo that and you work so hard and you try to make it super perfect and you tighten it so hard, it's also bad because it can just put pressure on your beads, put pressure on your wire, and it will finally break.
Yeah, right. I lost the end of my head. Oh, you did, okay. So in this pause, do you want to hear a joke?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, always. Okay, this is a religious joke. God created Adam and Eve.
Are you Mike?
Well, I'm.
Go to the front, go to the mic.
Now you're really gonna be struck down.
Yeah, not used to standing in front anymore.
Hold on, let's presenter mid. There we go.
How
Now,
can you tell?
okay.
Okay, so God created Adam and Eve. And after that, he said, I have 2 more things to give you. The first one is that you can pee standing up. And Adam said, ooh, 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 that's what I want. Oh, that's all I want in this world. God said, okay, you got it. Eve, You get to have multiple orgasms.
All right, now back to your regular program.
Was that off color enough? It was close. So I'm starting on the next Okay, I have another one while you're still in a resting state.
Wait a minute, that's good. All right.
Yeah, shut up, Shelley.
Is
it also religious?
No, this one has no religion. So this guy had been a postal worker all his working days. And when he retired, he decided that what he really wanted to do was make carve stone to be headstones. And he was very good at it. And at one point, a woman died, and she was very proud of the fact that she lived her whole life and she was still a virgin. And so on her headstone, he wrote, "Return to sender unopened."
Okay, that's all I know.
happy holidays. I think that was just the perfect.
So should I tell another one?
Well, Maggie is laughing her butt off down in Arizona. She just wants to let us know it's happy to see us all through this.
Okay, so I'll tell you one. Since you reminded me. Usually once I've told the joke, I forget it. So this one I had to tell my financial advisor.
All right.
Because he told me.
So here's Maxine for third time's a charm.
Third time, God, this must be a holiday. So my financial advisor, it was back in 2000, whatever, when the market dipped. And I said to him, God, it was a long time ago because I was still working. I said, will I ever be able to retire? Will I have money? And he said, absolutely, Maxine, you can do everything you wanted to do. You just have to die earlier. And I've told him this, I reminded him of this, and he said, you know, that's a good line. So, and this is truthfully all I know.
Welcome.
So
I did hear one.
there you go. Here's an overhead view of everybody. We miss you all, everybody on Zoom. Hi, everybody.
Rochelle, how many people are on Zoom?
There's like 28.
Wow.
I know. I mean, there's more than just you guys in the world, right? I mean. Adele is here on Zoom. Wait a minute. Hi, Adele. And she paid her dues. She is a returning member, so you'll see her hopefully at more Monday meetings and Saturday events.
I think Marlene had a question on Zoom.
Okay, so let's go back and
Okay, so Marlene's question is, should we cut the wire after we finish each branch? How long the wire tail do we need to leave? I know you did cover this just before we took a break. Do you want to go over that once again?
Yeah, your finished branch should have two wire tails. One is just like not more than 5 centimeters, and the second one is shorter. So you cut the second one shorter than your first one. So they are just two short wire ends. Say I just finished this 5 loops branch, and here is my first wire end, and this is my string of beads. So the first one I left around 5 centimeters, and the second one I will cut even shorter. So like here, like maybe 3 centimeters. So the first one was around 2 inches. The second one would be around 1 or 1.5 inches. So I just cut it. Yeah, I keep folding the string of beads, not lose the beads. And here is my branch with short wire ends. And then I continue and create more branches. So I step aside like a couple of inches just by eye without even measuring it out. Then making the first loop 3.5 centimeters. Squeeze it, twist it a couple of times. Measure out to 5 beads, which will be in between the loops. Then the second loop again, 3.5 centimeters. Make a loop, squeeze it, and twist the wire ends a couple of times again. I have 2 loops now. And so on until we have 3 loops, which is the smallest branch, or 5 loops on the whole, which will be the second one, the second branch type. Or you can even continue and make 7 loops, 9 loops if you want to create a bigger tree. And let me show you. Let me show you like pictures of branches that they have created when they made a big tree. So this one was 7 loops. Then 9 loops. You see it's even bigger. 11 loops. Here it's 12, and so on. And 13.
What's the biggest?
13, and then 15. So the biggest was 15. The biggest was 15 because you can continue like. Yes, because the wire will be too soft for the beads. Oh, and plus also we are using 26 gauge wire now because we are making a little tree, right? But if you are going to create a bigger tree, then use 24 gauge wire because especially for bigger branches, you need it to be very stiff and hard to be able to hold the weight of the beads. And actually, you can still start from the 26 gauge wire for smallest branches, like for 3 loop or 5 loop branches, but then eventually we need to start using 24 gauge wire. Oh, Shelley is running out of wire.
That's when we gave everybody more wire.
I was anxious to see how much it would actually make.
We were guesstimating you could get 5 to 7 branches out of wire we pre-loaded for you.
I got 6.
You got 6, okay.
6 of 3 loops?
No, 2 of 3 and I'll have 4 of 5.
Make 7,
Make some more 3s.
so yeah, of 3s for sure, because we need to start assembling the 3. Plus also, don't forget about the angel. We still need to make an angel, but it will be our top branch. Besides those 7.
We gave you lots of wire, so you should have enough to make it.
Oh, yeah. 3 loops and 1, 2, 3. I was just saying 5.
I know.
But, that's just where I am. I think I probably have 4 or 5. Yeah. How many 3s do you use?
7.
How many 5s do we need?
It's on your pattern right in front of you. I'm right here on the other side of the back page for the tiny little ornament. 10 3-loop branches, 9 5-loop, and 1 in the top for that little teeny tiny one. So you want to make it bigger, then you gotta make more.
Yeah, Michelle has 3 loop branches, but I used 7, so.
Well, I added 3 on the bottom for the little skirt.
Oh, right.
So that's where the extra 3 came from. So.
Because that's what you taught me.
But that's so optional.
Do you want more little ones?
Yes. So if you are going to finish the whole 3 today, so then you will need 10 3-loop branches. But if you're just going to start assembly and then finish later, then better do 7 3-loop branches and start making 5-loop branches, so you can continue with the assembly.
Oh, are we good? Everybody has extra beads, extra wire, lots of spinners around.
I need a spinner.
Yeah. They told me, they said, maybe a couple of places.
I think it was somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was somebody else. Yeah, it was Rita. I'm sorry, Rita. We can't get it to you physically right now. Did you want? But we love you. She's laughing. LOL.
So here I'm showing the picture of all the units, all the branches for my biggest tree, like for my biggest blue spruce tree. And for our tiny little one, we will just need to use these 3 or 4 first types and this last for skirting. So here is the first branch, but we will make it later with the angel on top. This is our modification for today masterclass. Did you spill all the beers? Who did? So now you are making 7 real branches because we are going to use 3 as the first layer and then 4 as the second layer of our tree. Then you will need to create 5 loop branches because this will be our third layer. And then we will need 3 loop branches again to finish the tree with the skirting. Yeah, but again, if you want the tree to be really big, you can always continue and do more branches in between.
You don't want to go 5 feet if they're all size 8.
Is there anything left?
Yeah.
There's a big
No.
span.
These 10 grams.
Cheryl says no.
Yay, I made it to 5.
Cool, 5.
5.
You just need to give it a shape now and put the branches on top, like at the 45 centimeters degrees, at the 45 degrees angle. So they will look like this, but like that.
Like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
like that. Ah,
Good. Yes, I like it. This is your
learning anything new is challenging.
recording.
But fun.
I did actually also this camera showing something.
I just think so, yeah.
When I was.
Yeah.
And then I had a Roger. Well, I haven't yet. My house is on the market. It went on the market on Tuesday, or no. It was last week, I guess, because I had showings. So I. Because I bought another place.
No, you're good.
I they had an open house on Tuesday that only 2 couples came through, but one is serious. I had a showing the day before that I haven't heard anything back on. And the realtors are all coming tomorrow. So that'll be a big day. Yeah. I'll be gone. That's right, it is a Park Tavern. Oh my God, am I glad you said that. I would have went to Park Tavern and wondered where everybody was. Ah! What time are we supposed to be there? Well, I was very late. For some reason I got.
Oh, I know, I'm sorry, I know what to do. Now they can see both, correct. All right. There you go. Got a little closer up view here for you now.
So I'm making five. Branch now. Oh, actually, I want to continue and create a couple more loops.
I don't know what you're doing.
So I measure out five bees, then 3.5 centimeters of bees. And I leave just a little bit of space, like couple for 3 millimeters, and I start bending the loop right here. So I have the loop here, and still I have this little space of wire, which I'm going to use for twisting. But before that, I need to squeeze the loop so it doesn't look like a leaf, but it's more like a needle. So I squeeze it as much as I can. And now I just need to twist the rope. 1, 2. Or it's actually, while I was doing it, I got a less space here, so this is kind of very tight now. Okay, I will try to make the second one. It will be the seventh one, actually. So 5 beads, then 3.5 centimeters. Again, leaving some space like this, and I hold it here. And create a loop. Oh, so much. Then hold it here underneath the loop and squeeze it. The loop. So now it looks like a needle. And now I'm ready to start sorting. I just want to show that I still have this spaces from where wire go. So I will use it for twisting. So the ideal thing is if you can use that bare wire for twisting. So now you have 7 loops and 5 beads between the loops, and hopefully they are pretty tight and nice, and they don't move here. So now I just bring the wire end like that, and I start twisting here on top first. So I twisted the first. I twisted the first part. Now I will twist the second part. Now I will twist the third one. And after that, I'm just ready to twist the wires. Just as many times as you want. The main idea is that it should hold your branch tightly together. So, but now it doesn't look very nice because it's kind of a little bit funny while we were working. So now just start bending your loops up at an angle, like 45-degree angle, like that, all of them. So we now have a branch. And this is 7 loops branch. And I can also show you a little trick that as soon as you create one branch, you can give it a shape. So it will be not as flat as this one, but kind of give it a natural look. And then after you will create your tree, it will look and make your tree look even more natural. So just kind of try to shape and bend each of your loops a little bit upwards, like that. Just like that. You see, I just bend this side, but this one is still left. It's still flat. So this one is flat, but this one already has some shape, and I think it looks more natural this way. So I will finish the 7th half of the branch. So now I have, you see, now it looks more like a fir tree branch, more natural, not just flat. So, and it's better to do it now after you created this branch, then also we made this 5. Or by the way, you can compare. This is the flat branch and this is the shaped branch. So which one looks better? Yeah, the shaped one. So I will do the same with all my branches, even before assembly. Theoretically, you can make it after you assemble the tree, but it will be not as easy if you make it now. If you do it now, because when you assemble it, it's kind of all tight, and it's not even possible to reach each and every loop there, especially inside of the tree. So you can maybe easily reach your outer loops, but not the ones from the inside. That's why it's better to give the branch a shape now, and then when you start creating your tree, assembling, it will already be looking nice. And by the way, this tree has 9 loops, branches maximum. So 7 and plus also 9. This one is smaller. This one has 7 loops maximum. And what Rochelle did, Rochelle said this one also has.
Yeah, the bottom row is 7.
This one is also 7. The bottom row is 7, and then do you have the skirting?
I just kind of crunched them and munched them around.
Rochelle, you have your own technique.
More organic.
It's
The crunch.
The crunch one.
And this is even this is the smallest tree.
Right, so then we downsized it even further, so it could be.
This one has 5 maximum. 5 loops.
So you can have a different size forest.
Yes. You can create the whole forest.
Exactly.
Yeah. And you have different stages of trees. Okay. Can you write how many branches you have already, or who is in the class today? Can you say how many of each loops?
We got 9 of 3.
9 of 3. Oh, good. And
3 of 3 and 1 of 5.
1 and 1 of 5. Oh, that's very quick. Maybe now. Let's make an angel then. First of all, you got this paper from Rochelle, and here she's showing how to make the angel here, but I am also going to show mine. Is it better to use this camera or that one?
No, they really Zoom really like this one. So keep it up.
Where's my wire? For the angel, we need a thin wire. Actually, the same size as you have, 26 gauge wire, right? Because I tried it with 24 and it didn't work. Like the smallest beads in the angel are too small for that wire.
No.
Without beads. Yes, I just said I will find my here it is. Just a quick question. I think you made it a little bit differently. So I'm going to show my way and then you will tell it.
I just kind of winged it because I made your first loop and then the first half of the second loop and then added the thing. So I had no idea. I'd never done it before. I never done this before.
Yeah, and I started with cutting the wire.
I did cut the wire 12 inches.
But you started with the loop and I started from with the
Oh, with the top.
Yeah, with the
Okay,
top.
so yours might be easier. I just started like made the first loop. The first 3 loops. Yeah, they are. So watch hers and then otherwise read the directions.
And here in my pattern it's even more difficult because I started with the magnet. Like here I have 2 pieces of magnet of the magnet. Yeah. Which people are normally using for the bracelets. So I started with this first piece, but as soon as we are not making with the, we don't have any magnets now, so we will start with the demi bead.
Which is the angel halo.
Yeah, angel's halo, the golden demi bead. Yeah, so you have demi bead, then the skirt, then the fire polish bead, and the wings. So just prepare them all and cut about 30 centimeters, which is 12 inches, or maybe even a little bit more. Like if you have enough wire, you can just in case measure out, say 35 or 15 inches of wire. So just to make sure that you have enough. So I have this 15 inches of thin wire. So, and I put the first golden demi bead, which is the halo on this wire. So here it is. Everybody sees it? Yeah, then I just put it in the middle. Oh, no, not this way. Because I did it with the magnet, I did it this way. But now I should, yeah. Yeah, this will be this way. I just never made the angel started with the halo yet. Okay, so we have the halo on top of our wire, and the wire I just bent double. now just put this 3 millimeter fire polish bead, which will be the head of the angel, then the metal wings, and then the skirt. The main idea is to put the skirt the right way, not the opposite way. So I put the head, the wings,
The head, the wings, the skirt.
yes, and the skirt. Yes. This is what it has. The head, the wings, and the skirt. And I need to actually put this whole body through both ends, through both wire ends.
So you went around the halo?
Yes, the halo we just put on one end and folded the wire together, half. Yeah, folded the wire in half, and then that's why actually you see again one wire end I left longer, the second wire end I left a little bit shorter, so it's easier to string on one wire end first, and then just put the beads through the second one. So, but now when we have it, we just move the body closer to the halo, and we need to kind of push a little bit. Sometimes it helps to use the pliers, nylon nose pliers or just regular pliers. The only thing that the blade should be a smooth one, not to skirt, not to damage the wire. So this way, the nylon nose pliers works the best. You see the halo is kind of is pointed up, but I will just bend it a little bit like that. So it's not up, but it's how it's supposed to be on the pad. Can you see it? Does everybody have a?
Is that at the angels, the halfway, like in the middle of the wire? Yes. It doesn't.
Well, it's even easier and a little bit longer, and the second one is a little bit shorter. Was there a question? Hey, Michelle, was there a question from somebody in the chat?
They just wanted the pattern, and so, we were making sure if they got it, I will put it on the website for people who, you know, the smaller, whatever. Because the angel part wasn't on your pattern, so that we sent them earlier, so that was it, so we wanted to make sure. And it'll go up on the pattern. But yeah, I like doing it your way. Yeah. These-
I just want to put my metal wires because it looks like a wire on the wire. Is it clear with the angel? Everybody has it, or something maybe needs the repetition? Let me know if you want me to repeat the steps, but otherwise, if everybody got it, we can continue.
I think we're good.
Okay, and in the chat as well?
Yep, in the chat as well. Nicole's up perfect. You worked good.
Okay, so now we still have these two wires, right? Coming and it looks like this out of the engine. So now this string 1.5 centimeters, or it would be like a little bit more than half an inch on each wire. So I'm going to
How many centimeters?
1.5. 1.5.
I think I had 5 shirts and one wave. But only one wave, I'm sorry.
I was gonna say that.
You can use your own wings, or you could use any kind of cute. Or you can put a star, any kind of thing, I'm sorry.
Those cute little, those like C ones, they're like a
Yeah,
crescent.
the crescent, that would be a really cute little wing as well. Okay, sorry, we're interrupting.
Yeah, I'm just showing that I have 1.5 centimeters of beads on each wire. Does everybody have it? I spin them on. And you don't even need to measure each time. You can measure one time, then you can put whatever like whatever you get on your wire, and then just remove extra beads. But the idea is that our both strings should be the same length. And let me show you. First of all, it will be like this is what I already have. So you see, this is almost the same as just our regular first three-loop branch. But the only difference is that we put the angel on top. So now we are going to twist these two strings together, like as if we are finishing our top loop a couple of times. So I have this now. And we still have pretty long wire ends to make 2 more loops of the same size, 3.5 centimeters, plus 5 beads in between the loops. Yeah, so now I'm going to string 5 beads plus 3.5 centimeters on each of the wire ends. So let's do it. And technically what I do, I just use my bead spinner and I string whatever. Like I'm not measuring, but kind of I can tell by eye that this is 3.5 centimeters plus 5 beads for sure, even more. Then after that, I count 5 beads, and I just drop them. And now I will measure this, leaving only 3.5 centimeters. And if I have a couple beads like extra, I will just remove them. If I don't have enough, I will add more beads. 3.5. Okay, yeah, I have 3 extra beads, so I'm moving them. And this is my first wire, so I'm going to make a little loop, or if you have a bead stopper, you can use your bead stopper. Just make sure that it's kind of it holds your wire very good and doesn't take off from the wire. So I have whatever beads I need on my first end. So I'm just going to repeat the same with the second end. Bring in the beads. Okay. Looks like this should be enough. Measure it, counted 5 beads, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now I need to measure 3.5 centimeters. Now I can make the loop on the second wire. So you see I have 2 wires with just enough beads to finish our units. Is everybody ready? Okay, I will wait a little bit.
So you did, where did you put your 5? Did you just count and add and then do?
Yeah, just count 5 beads plus 3.5 centimeters, and this will be the beads you need to finish. That's why you can just make a little loop at the end of your wire ends or use the bead stopper just to secure them, and repeat the same with the second one. And it will be just enough to finish our
How long should the first group of beads be below the angel?
1.5 centimeters.
1.5
Yeah,
centimeters.
this first part, each street was 1.5 centimeters. Then you twist it and select more beads.
Yeah.
You can actually just make one side first and then string more beads and finish the second side first, or as I already did, I'm working in parallel, so I strung enough beads on one side, enough beads on the second side, and after that I'm going to continue weaving. Let me know when you are ready to continue. Or if you are close to be done, just again look at the screen and let me show you how to finish this, and then you can finish it. So now I have 5 beads. We need them in the beginning, so I just count 5 beads here, put them closer to this middle loop, and then what is left is just our 3.5 centimeters, which we need for the second loop. Here again, I leave just a tiny space of about 2 or 3 millimeters, and I create a loop here. The same technique. I shape it, I squeeze it, and then twist it a couple of times. So one side is ready. Now we don't even need this bead stopper, or we can unwind our loop if we created a loop from the wire at the end. And now we can do the same thing with the second part. So again, 5 beads, and then just a little bit of bare wire space. And the rest, which is 3.5 centimeters, we are going to use to make a loop. And squeeze it. And twist it. By the way, here I see that I probably left too much of the space. So you see my beads are not tight, they are moving. They are moving on the wire. What I usually do is if it's not like super big, if it's super big, I will probably redo it. But if it's not so bad, I will just twist a couple more times. So now it's better. It's more tight now, but just the wire leg is just a little bit bigger, but it's not. So I can unwind this wire now. I don't need it because my beads are all secured now here by our twists. So you see, we are very close to finishing our top branch with the angel on top. So the only thing we need to finish is to twist the wires and actually to twist to make this cross in the middle, right? The same way as we did it with all our branches. So we crossed our beads and then we are twisting the wire. The wire ends at the bottom. Again, like half an inch would be enough. And then, oh, I did it too fast. So I still had it like that, right? Like a cross. But to make this, to give it a shape, we need to direct our loops up. So they are kind of pointed to the 45 degrees towards the top. So here is our top branch with the angel. Who has it?
I just thought it'd be cool to have an angel on top. It's really cool. Yeah, Tierra Cat sent the wings. Those are the last wings from Tierra Cat.
No, sad.
Aw.
Wouldn't you think somebody could have bought them?
You never know. There's a lot of rumors in the grapevine.
Oh, I
think
hope
it's
they do.
positive for the designers and maybe, you know, you never know.
Yeah, there's rumors that somebody is trying.
Well, I sure hope they do.
But thank you, Rochelle, for this idea. Actually, you can, like, if you are going to create the forest of your trees, of your Christmas trees, you can just use your imagination and maybe you can put a star on top.
Or maybe birds or
Yeah,
animals.
birds or something. Or maybe a snowflake.
Well,
A
thank you.
star, yeah. So, if everybody is ready with the angel, plus if you have three units with the 3 loops and 4 units with the 4 loop branches, we can actually already start assembling the flower. Oh, sorry, the 3. Yes. If you have several branches with your 5 loops, it's even better because you can assemble your the tree even further. Michelle, how much time do we have left?
It's 4:45, we have an hour and 15 minutes, so we have to be out of the building.
Oh, hour and 15 minutes. Okay, so maybe use 15 minutes to finish as much branches as possible, and then I think 1 hour will be enough for us to assemble what we have. So we have the angel. Please make sure that you have at least 7 branches with 7 branches with 3 loops.
Plus the.
Maybe say bye to everyone. See you.
Yeah.
Bye, baby.
Bye. Angel plus 7 branches, so on the whole it will be 8.
Okay.
Yeah, but if we are not counting the angel, then it should be 7. With 3 loops to start our assembly, and then make 5 branches with 5 loops. 5 branches with 5 loops to go even further, and then if you are pretty quick and you still have some time, make the additional 3 loop branches 3 units just to finish our tree with the skirt. Just to make the skirting of our tree. Because, like for example, if you have a tree, and say we don't make a skirting, right? We just make small branches, then medium branches, then big branches, and no skirting at all. So if our tree will look like a triangle, which is also actually possible, but it's just more simple shape. It will be like just a triangle. But to finish it and to make it even more natural, we need this skirting, like extra layer of short branches, which probably like they are new branches that are growing, like the shoots, new shoots, very fresh new shoots. So that's why we are making this skirting out of 3 loop branches. Oh, somebody had a question. Michelle, please check. I saw there was some.
Oh, yeah. So they just wanted to know when the video will be available. So this will be uploaded onto YouTube after this, so then you can rewatch.
And also, if you just can you tell about my video tutorial?
Absolutely, that's the whole reason you're here, is to share your wealth of knowledge and excitement for what you're doing with wire wrapping.
I will just need to put maybe the name of my channel or the link directly, because it will be harder to find without it.
Yeah, put it in the chat as well on the Zoom, if you can. Or maybe you can put it in the chat over here for her, because I don't know how to spell correctly.
I will just copy the link.
Can you do that and put it in your chat? Okay, super, all right. I don't want to mess up.
Well, I didn't find where is the chat.
Oh, yeah, hover down.
Ah, yeah, here, I see, it's on the more. Now, here, right?
Yep, and then go
Here, I just put the link to my YouTube channel, but actually I need to this masterclass directly.
Yeah.
I'll try.
I will leave it to the video tutorial chat if you want to take a look and see everything closer, like I'm showing everything, all the details, because the only problem is that it's not in English but in Russian. But sometimes there is the option to translate. It's not available for all the videos, but sometimes. Yeah. Bye. Thank you. Thank you, Rita.
Well, John went into surgery and he was sent home sick. And I actually and then when you got a particular about it, I said, you say we're
And if you do want any more beads for the tree or wire, we do have more of the bead mix, the original bead mix up here for sale. We have leftovers, and some more of the 26 gauge wire and some more skirts. And then the proceeds would go directly to the UFGS. There's an angel skirt. No, angel skirts. Oh, sorry, angel skirts. Oh, and there's pretty glass tubes here too, if anybody wants any. Little donated by Anita. The little bead tubes with stoppers. So there's 40 grams of the tree beads for $5, and then the wire is $2, and then the so there's 40 grams in each bag. Those are here. Oh yeah. But the checks are free, they're donated by Anita. Cigar. I just watch them. It's tobacco. Yeah, they're cigars. They're short cigars. And the wire is $2, beads are $5.
Now. She said she had news, right? She's got these bad here sharing that.
I made my first a couple months shy.
Oh, it's because she's screen sharing, so it doesn't matter. So we have a whole bunch of people that want to send their wishes. Marlene Ackerman from Florida says the party was fun. Merry Christmas to all from Florida. And then we also have a message from Mary Lindred that says welcome, happy everything to everyone. Great class. Happy holidays, everyone from Colleen. Jan Lowe says hi. Rita says hi. Great teachers, Svetlana. This is a beautiful tree.
So we now have a member from Australia, right?
We have had a member for a couple years from Australia. I'm not sure if they were renewing their membership or not. They didn't join us tonight. Yeah, it's tomorrow morning in Australia, so it runs around the time zone. Isn't that
I follow because I follow you, then I got.
Well, that's why they need.
We are going to start our chapter now. Is everybody ready? Okay, you see here I put a picture of all of the branches that I had for my bigger tree. Do the same, but with what you have. So first one is your angel. Put it first. Then count 3 branches with 3 loops and put them beside your angel, but a little bit kind of apart, so not to mix those branches. So this is this. Then count 4 branches with 3 loops and put them here. And then whatever, how many branches with 5 loops you have, ideally you should have 5 of them, but you probably didn't have enough time to finish. So if you have at least a couple, put those next. So we have kind of everything organized to be able to start. Oh, I will show you the pictures first, and then I will switch the camera. Yeah. So you see, all of you have some stem, right? Stem wire, like the green wire. And we actually put just a short piece of wire. Yeah. Rochelle, does everybody have this?
They should all
This
have a short piece of
green, thicker wire?
a 20-inch wire should be
Yeah, it's
in.
probably together with your floral tape. And you see, we put
Don't I have
short because the idea was to create a Christmas tree ornament. So you don't need like a long stem. For example, if you're going to create a tree to put in the pot, then probably you need a long stem because you need to create a stable base out of wire that you put it in your pot. Or like here. Here, you see, I also used a longer stem because I created this thing to put it on the table or whenever I want. But because you have the short piece of wire, it will just go into the hand, right? We will not be able to put it on the table, but it's just the idea where if you are going to create the next tree, then take maybe twice longer stem. So you have this extra wire to bend and create this base, so your tree can stand on its own. Okay, let's return to my pictures here. Okay, so we are going to start with putting our first branch with the angel on top of our stem wire. And we are going to use the floral tape to fix it. Rochelle, is this the way you did it? Or we also discussed that?
I started with the angel and stuck the angel of the stick, but that's the same
And
thing.
you use the stem wire
I use that
from the
stem
very
wire.
beginning, right?
Yep, from the very beginning. Was that what I'm supposed to do?
Yes, yes.
I watched your video, but it was in Russian. So
We just also discussed that, for example, if you are using a thicker wire, like 24 gauge wire, it's already pretty thick enough just to maybe twist a couple of first branches without using any stem. But as soon as our wire is thin, 26 gauge, right? So we are going to use the stem wire from the very first branch with the angel. And then you see we are going to add around this first branch, we are going to cover with the floral tape just a little bit, like not more than 5 millimeters, which is again 1/4 of an inch, right? 1/4. And then we will add our next layer of branches, which would be 3 branches with 3 loops. And then we will just continue to put more and more layers, one by one. I'm going to show it until we have the tree. So I'm going to show it now. Okay, here's my, everybody can see. Yeah, here's my stem wire and my floral tape. As soon as I'm making the blue spruce, I'm using the bright green floral tape, and you are making the Christmas tree, the green one. For the green one, I was using the brown floral tape. I don't know, I just like to use the blue or green floral tape for the blue spruce. Okay, and I'm starting with attaching the, yeah, you know, my husband knows my trick. When you are working with the floral tape, your hands can become sticky. Because to make your floral tape work good, first of all, you need to tear it off from the spool, and actually I showed it too quick, so I will just repeat. So I never cut the floral tape with scissors, because the idea is you need to stretch it to activate the glue, right? And that's why when you are just tearing it like that, you will stretch the very end of the floral tape. And then you can continue and stretch it. And you see this part, which I didn't stretch yet, it's kind of glossy and dark green. And this part is already lighter and not so shiny, because the glue is now available. So I just stretch it. You can, by the way, you can stretch it like the whole piece, or you can stretch on the wall, like step by step. Just don't forget to always stretch it. Yeah, and your hands can become sticky. And when I, for example, want to give a shape to a branch, or I want to touch my beads, I usually use like a napkin or some kind of a material, because the water will not work, but something soft and like your napkin will help to clear your fingers from the glue. Okay, but where is my stem? Yes, here it is. So I started with covering the top of the stem like that. Yeah, so yeah, I start this way. You see, I start a little bit further down. I start a little bit like this, but I hold my floral tape at an angle, and I move up towards the top like that, so kind of from the bottom to the top, and then when I reach the top, I just fold the floral tape in half lengthwise, so I will have it twice thinner but twice stronger now, because it's like double layer, and we need it to be very wide. We just, this is the perfect size. So you see my top, the tip of my wire is covered now, and I'm ready to take my first branch with the angel and put it on top like that. So just don't leave any wire here. It should be like your beads should touch your wire, the stem wire, or maybe even you can put your stem wire a little bit up on your beads. So now let's cover and at the same time attach your first detail, your first unit, first branch to a stem. So you see, now I have about 5 millimeters covered, just a little bit, 1/4 of an inch covered. And now I'm going to start using my three loop branches, but not all together, but one by one. So I'm taking the first one, and usually I bend the wire leg a little bit like that, using my hand. And then after that, it's just easier to put it as close to your stem as possible. Okay, I put it here. And I'm going to continue twisting the floral tape and attaching this second branch. One, just a couple of times is enough. After that, I'm turning the work and I'm going to put the second branch the same way. Just use my hand to bend the leg, and now I'm going to put it close to the previous branch and twist it, covering a couple of times again, maybe even one, because I already see that I don't want it to be very far apart. I don't want them to be far apart, so we don't see any stem through the branches. And now I'm taking another one, again using the same bend to that. And you see now I have this open space, so I'm going to put it right here in this open space. And again, now I can twist like 3-4 times, and that will be our second layer. So just once again, I can bend my branches like that just to show you what I have. If you look at your piece like from the top, this direction, you should be able to see that you have these 3 branches like shaping the triangle. So then they should be all the way around your piece, your angel. Yeah, and then just do the same with the remaining 4 little branches. So small. So here I have them, the 4 little branches. I'm just going again to put one by one, using the same technique, around these 3. So they should kind of shape the square now, because we have 4 of them. So I will start with the first one, and you see, not to make them, like if I put it right here, you see, it will be covered by the first, by the top layer. So I'm going to shift it a little bit so it is kind of, it is shown in between the previous 2 branches, like this. So it will be here, it will be here, and I continue raising. It's actually not easy if you hold them like that, so I'm going to press them together. But you got the idea, right? Then, beside this one, I'm going to put the second one. This is our second layer with the 3 loop branches. Then the third one. So now I can actually bend them again and see. So see, now I have 1, 2, and 3. So I think the fourth one will go this way. This way. We'll put it here. One, two, three. So let's take off again from the top. So you see now I have the square out of 4 branches. Mhm. And my first 3 are here. So this is the second layer, and now we just continue the same way. If you already have your 5 branches with 5 loops, just again, step 5 millimeters from the second layer and start attaching your third layer with 5 loops. And obviously they should all go around, so you should get the perfect shape. If you are going to create even bigger tree with 7 loop branches, then you can create 5 or even 6 of them, and they will be bigger, plus more of them will create another layer with the perfect circle of branches, and so on, so forth, and until you want to stop. So, but for example, I want to continue. I will press them again because I don't want them to kind of cover my work here, so I can see clearly. If I keep it this way, it's better for me to continue working. Okay. Oh, and also when I decide where to put the first branch, I can turn my work around. Oh, put the light here. I can turn my work around, and you see here I have branches, 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 and here I see here it's kind of a gap, and I see more of the stem with the floral tape here. So I will put my first branch here under this gap, not here because here it's already busy, but here it looks like I need to put my first branch right here, which is 5 loops now. So I went the red and put it right here, this, and then I continue covering just 1, 2 times. And by the way, you see, I have my floral tape here, and now it's flat again. So as soon as I need it, I continue and fold it half in half lengthwise again. So I always kind of double, like fold it in half.
You stretch it first before you fold it in half?
Yes, or even I do it simultaneously, like I stretch and fold. Yeah.
And how many times do you wrap around one branch before you add the next branch?
1 or 2. Mhm. Also, just make sure that they each branch is a little bit down, like maybe 1 millimeter down. But not the same layer, or you will have like 1 layer, the second layer, and spacing in between. You don't want it. That's why I put it a little bit down, but not too much, so not to have big spaces between branches. Okay.
Spiral.
Yes, like a spiral. Yes. Thank you, Diane. Yeah, here. Maybe 1 is enough now. Then I add the second one. Oh, it's already the third one. 1 turn again. I feel that this time 1 turn is not enough. Maybe next time I will do 2 turns. This one now. Here I will do 2 turns. I will make 2 turns. And now one, that becomes 1, 2. Yeah, I already have 4 branches with 5 loops. And I will put the 5th somewhere here. Let me move them closer. So you see 1, 2, 3, 4. So the 5th will go this way. Okay. And now I make like 3, 4 turns because we are going to start our next layer. So in between the layers, you can leave just a little bit more of space. Okay. Oh, and by the way, so if you have 7 loop branches, continue the same way, adding more and more, but let's create a really very tiny tree now. So I will just use my last 3 loop branches for the skirting. So starting with the first one, the same way, it's just the branches that are smaller. Again, I'm finding the ideal spot. Here or here, maybe here. It looks like less some open space. So 2 turns, then clean my hands before touching the beads. My 3rd one. And again, and the skirt, because the stem now is thicker, I probably need to leave a little bit more space between 2 branches because they should go like, we only have 3 of them, so they again should create the perfect triangle. So I have the first one, the second one, and here I will get the 3rd one. So I tried to spread them evenly around that thicker stem. So 1, 2, and 3. Yes. Can you see 3 of them? Here, yeah, like also around the stem. Okay. And now you see we already have some wires. So the first option would be to continue cover till the end, and then cut whatever like leftovers here, and then bend your base like that around so it's pretty stable. Oh, and by the way, you see, if you want to hang something from your loop, from the end of your base here, we can, it's optional, but you can use some thicker wire, like 22 gauge wire, and just create a little loop at the end of that wire, and before finishing your stem, we have one. I say this is my 22 gauge wire. So I'm just using a little piece. Oh, and I'm using the nylon nose pliers just to even like make it straight. And then I also have this round nose pliers too. So I can create a little loop at the end of this wire. Like that. So, and then before finishing my stem, I'm going to do a little bit because I already covered too much. Say I want the length to be this. So I cut the axis. And I will put this loop, this wire with the loop, right inside here. So, and the loop only, you can only see the loop after the last V. Okay, and now just continue to cover together with this loop. Let me push it a little bit. So this will be our. Okay, I need to grab more. Oh, by the way, if your floral tape ended, because it's sticky, just take another piece and kind of press it where you stop and continue the same way. So here you can cover something like that. You can even use, you can cut your floral wire in half like that with your scissors and use a thin piece of floral tape just to put inside of the loop and kind of cover the top part of the wire so nothing is visible at all. But it's optional if you want to be like super accurate. Yeah, but if you just turn around several times like that and then start going backwards, it's like nobody will see it anyway. So we are covering backwards now from the tip back to the tree. Like you can do it like all the way down to your branches, or if you think like it's enough, you don't want to add any extra layer and thickness to your stem, just cut it. And sometimes, you know, when I was working with this brown floral tape, it wasn't as sticky as this green one. So I just used a tiny drop of this glue. So just glue it so it will never come off. What do you call this? School glue? Okay. Oh, so this is the first option, how we can finish our stem. And also I just had an idea, but I didn't have a chance to try it yet. You know, Rochelle and Bobby Beat, we have some bead stoppers, like cups for the beads, or I don't know what else, like some cups maybe. So you can cut your stem very short like that. Use your floral tape also kind of cover the bottom a little bit. And then you just can use that bead stopper thingy, that metal thing, and put it on glue. So you will have that nice little metal kind of stem, trunk of your tree. Okay. This is my next, when I'm going to create my next tree, I will try to do it, but I need to get that, the middle part. Okay, and then, let's say I want to bend my trunk now, so I'm going to use this tool, this nylon nose pliers, and I'm going to press my bottom part. I'm not going to press it here because I don't want it to be very high. It should be as little as possible. As little as possible. Yeah. So I'm pressing it as close to the branches as I can, and then maybe even here. It's not here because this part is thicker. This part is thinner. So I'm going to press it here, so again, not to add any height. So I bend it, and now, yeah, so we are wrapping up. And now just give it a round shape or whatever shape you want. Again, maybe I thought you can make a triangle shape, or but probably round is the easiest. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time just to see it and kind of see that it's a good shape, nice and round. And when you're happy with your shape, you can also put your feet and see if it stands on its own. And then also as soon as we have this tiny loop at the end, we can hang something like this drop, like icicle. I need to clean my hands first. So I'm going to put the icicle at the end of my stem. So, for example, if you can put this tree on your table, or you can hang it, and this icicle will be also kind of adding some shine. Yeah, and now it's kind of, I can stand it. So, okay, after I'm happy with the shape and everything, now what I need to do first, again, remove glue from my hands. Are they wet?
Yes.
Because what I noticed, thank you, yeah, but I don't really, I'm not always using wet, because it's not very good at removing the glue, but this just normal dry is working better. Okay, so now I'm giving the shape to everything, because while I was working on the stem, what would you call this? Damaged a little bit. Yes, yes. I pressed them too hard.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, now I'm giving them a good shape. Does it look like a tree? Thank you so much. Oh, everybody will come home and finish this. Yes. And then put on your Christmas tree. And then you can create like different colors, like golden, silver. Diana was you were wanting to make it pink.
Pink tree.
Yeah, very bright pink tree. or what else? And then you can decorate your Christmas tree all over with these little Christmas trees. Oh, you know, actually sometimes people get, have you ever seen like the Christmas tree, but it's all silver, for example?
Yeah.
I think that silver type would be nice if you decorate them with green and blue spruces, right? Ornaments. Yeah. Okay. So I hope we are on time.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, and
Everybody's
by the
here.
way, one little finishing touch. So for example, for the green trees, we can notice that this doesn't look like a normal floral tape, but it has some golden tint, right? This is only because I covered the stem with this blue first, not to so the floral tape is secured, because as I said, this brown one was a little bit not so blue, like bluish, it was a little bit dry. So I covered it with this one, and then I used this acrylic in my metallic paint. So let me just take it out of here. Like this. So I use the golden color and the brown color and a tiny little brush. Yes, thank you. I forgot the word. Just to cover it with this golden thing. Yeah. So now if you feel it, it feels like plastic, or I don't know. You can't even tell that it's been floral tape.
You could use nail polish.
Yeah, maybe nail polish, transparent nail polish, or golden nail polish. Okay. I'm trying to remember some other tips for you. Yeah, as I already told in the beginning of the lesson of this class, that if you have a nice little pot, this looks like some logs.
So what's your website,
You can
Svetlana?
put your tree, and if you make your tree a little bit bigger, you can put it in the pot. The website is Super Beads. Beads is B and Super Biser. Biser means beads, and you can spell it like B-I-S-E-R.
It's on the
All
website.
on the website for you, easy link to follow. The video link will be there.
Yes.
We need to wrap because we have to be out of here in 22 minutes.
Okay, I will put the website in the chat as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so actually we are done. Thank you everybody for attending.